Good morning, friends! My name is Shayla, and today I am here to do a book unhaul for you. So, as you guys know, I buy a lot of books, and sometimes after a while, you read the description again and you realize it's not anything you're interested in anymore, or you read a book and you realize you don't like it, or you know you'll never reread it, and things like that. So that's what this haul consists of. If these are your favorite books, I'm very, very sorry. But all I'm going to say is I've either lost interest in reading them or I've read them and I don't like them. It's just something that is a dense or tough enough subject that I know I'll never reread it. So I have a very small library in my town. And so these books will be donated to that small library so that they can get some love and also support the local library because they are at a point where they are in need of donations and help to be able to become a bigger library. Like, it's not even in its own building at this point. That's how small my library is. It's just part of the city buildings right now. But they have to reach a certain point before they get state funding to get their own building, blah, 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 blah. So whenever I unhaul books, I usually end up donating them to this library. Let's just dig right in here because there's like 25 books and we'll be here forever. And again, if these are your favorite books, I'm very sorry. I didn't hate all of these books. I just know I will never reread them. So let's move forward. All right, we're going to start off with a doozy for this first one, and that is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This book was a kind of a tough read for me. It was a good read, but I know this is a book that I will never reread. So that is why I've decided to pass it on so that it gets the love and appreciation that it needs. Next up is Plus One by Elizabeth Falma. I really enjoyed this read. It was really fun, but again, this is one I probably won't pick up again. I ended up getting it on Book Outlet for like $1, so I don't feel bad sending it onto my library and letting somebody else get some reading fun out of it. Next up is The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro. I liked this. It was like a 3-star book, but I do think it could be passed on and somebody else could really enjoy it a lot more than I did. So that's why I've decided to pass this one on, despite its beautiful, beautiful cover. Next up is The Nest by Cynthia Dupree Sweeney. I hated this book. I really didn't like any of the characters. They were all spoiled brats in my opinion. So this book is moving on to a new home. This is one that I'll probably get some flack for as well, and that is Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. Now, I liked the writing in this, and I liked the story in this, but I liked the Studio Ghibli movie better. I like the depiction of the characters better. Howl himself is a much more redeemable character in the movie than in the book. So I think when it comes down to it, I enjoy the movie better than the book. And that's one of those very rare instances. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this on. Next up is Dear John by Nicholas Sparks. This is just a little mass market paperback. I liked the book fine. I liked the movie fine. I'd probably watch the movie before I'd read the book again. So that's where I'm at with that. Next up, you guys are probably going to hate me that I'm unhauling this book, but here we go. And that is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I read this. It was okay. Will I reread it? No, I'd rather reread Harry Potter any day. So that's why this one's moving on. Next up is Safe House by Nicholas Sparks. Again, it's one of those things where I'll probably watch the movie more than I would reread the book. So I'm going to send this one on. This is one that I found at a dollar bookshop around here anyway, so I definitely don't feel bad about sending it on. This is one that might get some flack as well, and that is Traitors by Blade by Sebastian de Castell. I did like this first book, but I've decided I don't want to continue on with the series. So I'm going to send this on to the library and let somebody else get a start on it so that they can end up enjoying the series and going on to read the rest. Next up is Daring Chloe by Laura Jensen Walker. This was a really fun book club style kind of book. I did enjoy it, but this is not one I would reread again. I might go find other books in this. It's a getaway girls novel, so I might go find more of them at the library. But this is definitely like a library book. This is one I don't need in my personal library. Next up is The Chopped Gem by Emily Gibson. This is more of an indie book. I did enjoy this book. It's not one I think I would be rereading often, so I think I'm going to send it on to the library so more people can get to know this author and this story. So that is my decision in sending this one on. Next up is The 100 Lies of Lizzie Lovett. I did enjoy this read very much more than I was expecting to, but it's not one I would probably reread very often, and if I really had a hankering for it, I can just go to the library and check it out because that's where this one's headed. Next up is Replica by Lauren Oliver. This is one of the ARC copies. I liked this book. I'm not going to continue on with the series. And I didn't like it enough to keep it on my shelf, even though it's one of the first ARCs I ever received. So next up is this old copy of Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. I have a much more beautiful copy now, so I've decided to send on this old paperback to the library and let somebody else get to know Anne Shirley. Next up is Eon by Allison Goodman. I was really excited when I first got this, because again, it was when I found a book outlet for not a lot of money. And then I read the synopsis again, and I'm like, you know, I'm never going to pick this up. So again, this is a nothing personal kind of book, but it's getting sent on. Next up is Trial by Fire by Josephine Angelini. I actually have 2 copies of this, so one of them's getting sent on. Next up is Every Kind of Wanting by Gina Frangelo. I got this as a blind date with a book, and I read the synopsis again recently. When I first got it, I was like, oh, sounds interesting, but now I look at it and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna read this. This is another one I'm probably gonna get flack for, but that is Homegoing by Yak Yassi. I'm at a point where I read for pleasure, not for any sort of political feeling or political acceptance, I guess. And I originally got this thinking I would really enjoy it, but I tried getting into this several times, and it was just not my kind of book, not my thing. And so I've decided to send it on to a good home at the library so that somebody else can go and explore this book that I'm sure is amazing once you get into it, but I just could not get into it. Next up is The Love Song of Miss Queenie Hennessy. This is actually a second book in the series, and as I read the description, it's not a book series I'm really interested in, so I've decided to pass this one on. It was a cover by the way, isn't it pretty? Next up is Come a Little Closer by Dorothy Garlock. Again, this is like book 3 in a series. I got it at that little dollar store. I had no idea it was book 3 in that series, and I don't think I'll ever get around to hunting down the others, so I'm just gonna pass this one on. Next up is Spotted Dick, S'il vous plaît. I bought it for the title. I can't lie, I'm part French, so I bought it for the title. I'm never going to get around to reading it, so I'm just going to send it on, even though the title makes me happy. Next up is this movie copy of Far from the Mating Crown by Thomas Hardy. I have the beautiful Penguin English Library edition, which I love and adore, so I'm passing on my movie edition. Next up is The Lucky One by Nicholas Sparks. Again, I'd probably watch the movie before I'd reread the book, so this one's going. Next up is The Glittering Court by Rochelle Mead. I haven't heard anything about a sequel. I liked this book fine. I did think the sequels would have been really fun and enjoyable, but it's probably, again, a library checkout rather than an own, so I'm going to send on this beautiful looking book to somebody at the library who can get to know Rochelle Mead. And last but not least is Starflight by Melissa Landers. I liked this first book, but I have no desire for continuing on with the series, so I've decided to send on this book to somebody else who might have interest in the rest of the series. So guys, I totally blitzed through those books. I didn't give you descriptions or synopsises or anything of these books. Some of them are very popular, I know, and I'm really sorry for that. So if you want to know any information about the books, let me know in the comments down below, and I will try to leave you Goodreads links in a reply or whatever if you're interested in knowing more about any of these books. But know that they're going to good home at my local library so that somebody can give them the love that they need. So thank you guys for watching this video. What have you decided you're not going to read or that you're going to unhaul recently? I'm really curious to see if your reading tastes have changed just like mine in the last couple years, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!